And the next, please welcome our speaker from Indonesia Property Watch, Mr. Ali Tranghanda. Mr. Ali Tranghanda, are you ready?
Oke, halo Bu
Okay,
Sarah.
yeah, the
Clear
time is
ya
yours.
suaranya ya?
So clear,
bagus.
clear.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am very pleased to be here, meet with expert from friendly countries. His Excellency Mr. Jose Tavares. Salam kenal Pak Jose, Director General for Asian Cooperation, the Ministry for Foreign Affairs. Mr. Michael Tinay, salam kenal Pak Michael Tinay, the Deputy Secretary General for ASEAN. Mr. Florentino Dulalia, VFC World President, Mr. Sulaiman Sumawinata. Ini apa kabar Pak Eman from VFC Asia Pacific President. Mr. Toto Lucida. Apa kabar nih Pak Toto, Roman Indonesian Relations Association as Chairman. Here also my friend Mr. Lucas Bong, okay, from RAB, Indonesian Real Estate Brokerage Association as Chairman, and Mr. Tito Loho from ASBF, ASBF Asian Super Block Forum. All right, this is my friend and my partner. Thank you for inviting me. We all meet here because of the pandemic, right? Yes. In this time, I will explain several things related to the current housing market condition in Indonesia. We know the COVID-19 pandemic has increased uncertainty over the economic, country growth, investment, finance, employment, including property business, right? This is a difficult situation, I think. Full of uncertainty. Many industries collapse, but some are still growing, I think. But we have no idea what will happen next, actually, right? Every country has its problem due to COVID-19 pandemic, as we know. However, it's too early to predict the further impact of the pandemic. Yes, so I think it's too naive if we can predict when the pandemic will end. Because it will be different case when we predict an economic crisis. We have historical data and we have statistics, but COVID-19 is something different. As we know, this has never happened before. We don't have any historical data about this pandemic, right? Now, this condition is different from Asian crisis, in 1998. Maybe we can compare the situation to SARS. SARS in 2003. However, in some cases, the situation is different from SARS. The epicenter was in China, right? In the same epicenter, I think. The same epicenter. COVID-19 started in China too, but China was still the sixth largest economy at the time, right? Now China is the second strongest country in the world. Thus, if the dragon is in trouble, then almost all the world will be affected. I think we all agree with that. Okay. We know tourists from China are the biggest in the world. Maybe the biggest in the world. China's export and import are also the largest. This make people worried about the situation. But it is good to know that China is gradually recovering. It grew to 2.3% in the second quarter, but the impact is still felt by other countries, including ASEAN. Even Singapore's economy contracted 12.6% in second quarter. Singapore has entered, in my opinion, maybe Singapore has entered a technical recession. We all worry about that. So we hope that Asian countries can work together, hand in hand to avoid an economic crisis, right? Regarding to the condition of housing market in Indonesia, I will describe a little what is happening in Indonesia today. The secondary housing market and the primary housing market. talking about secondary housing market, the growth of secondary market has been depressed since maybe since second, oh no, maybe since first quarter, of 2020. At some points of location, the price corrected up to 20%. Can even reach 30%. However, this condition has not been able to describe the market in general. But if this occur evenly throughout the region, wow, this will be dangerous of the property market. But based on our research from Indonesian Property Watch, housing prices corrected by 5%. Maybe below 5%, I think, on average. On average. In my opinion, this is still within safe limits. Safe limit, normal limits in this situation. Maybe later my friend Mr. Lucas Bong will explain in more detail. He knows more about the secondary market. He's the expert. Okay. Okay. Now I want to describe about the primary market. Maybe I can share our research. Our research. Wait. Okay, this latest survey. There is something interesting here. There's something interesting. In this slide, this is our research. The research is the result of survey to 65 housing projects in Jabodetabek, Banten area. Jakarta, Bogor, Depok, Tangerang, Bekasi, and Banten. I believe this area is the benchmark of housing sales in Indonesia. We see that the market experienced contraction at the beginning of the year, which is seen in the first quarter. The first quarter of 2020, it was dropped up to 50.1%. 51%. But surprisingly, the housing market rose very high. Rose very high in the second quarter, about 81.4%. 81.4%. Almost double compared to the previous quarter. The question is, what's happening? What's happening? I think this phenomenon is quite encouraging. But okay. We see why there was an increase in the second quarter. I think this condition shows us that the housing market has not lost its purchasing power. People's purchasing power is still high. Many people just wait. They just wait and see before buying a property. But it doesn't mean that there is no purchasing power. Although we know for sure everyone's cash flow is disrupted, right? In this slide, here we can see that some regions experience high growth. Units sold or and sales value. But there are areas that are still declining. Cilegon minus 14.5%, Depok minus 8.3%, and Serang minus 6.9%. But Tangerang and surrounding, has increased up to 164.1%. Okay. Okay. What's interesting here is that project with strong brand in the market show higher sales growth than others. Okay. It seems like the market trusts them more. I think. Okay. Let's see next slide. We see middle lower segment. Housing under 300 million has increased. The upper market segment also increased, but the average price shifted lower. For example, if in the first quarter the price average is 2.3 billion. For example, now in the second quarter, the average transaction is even lower. It's around 1.9 billion. The condition is like that. Okay. That is the description of the condition of housing market in Indonesia. Yeah. However, the growth pattern has not been stable yet. Yeah, it means that there is possibility of trend change in the next quarter. Okay, can continue to go up or even down. Yeah, I think this also depends on the pandemic. Yeah, the pandemic and the partial lockdown. Partial lockdown is apa ya itu pelonggaran PSBB. Ya, pelonggaran PSBB. Jadi the partial lockdown policy that the government will do. Yeah, that's why if we look at the current situation, ready or not, we will face what it called the new normal. Yeah, the new normal. We actually don't know what the new normal is, okay? Because it's hard to define for sure. It will never be the same again, I think. Yeah. But there are several things to describe the new normal in property business. Maybe it must be anticipated soon. Yeah. At first, we talk about the new market equilibrium. The property market will move. Yeah, will move to the new equilibrium. The market needs to be more realistic. Yeah, and we were in fact already seeing price correction before the pandemic hit. Yeah, and getting worse during the pandemic. Yeah, price correction it's not because the price is falling in some cases. Yeah, but it is already overpriced or overvalue. Okay, for example, many investors buy property when the price is too high. Okay, they buy property when the price is too high, which is the market price is still lower. So when he sold his property, the price was corrected, right? For example, yeah, an optimistic view would be that COVID-19 is correcting property prices, yeah, bringing them closer to a property's real value. We hope like that. Yeah. At the end of the day, the price of the property is what people are prepared to pay for it. Yeah. Yes. Jadi, yes, I think this makes the property more reasonable, more realistic, and more affordable. Yes, I think. Yeah. That was the first. Yeah. The second, we talk about the natural selection, the natural selection of developers. I predict the durability of developer, especially in the middle developer, is only 3 to 6 months. Yeah. If the pandemic is prolonged, many of them will probably collapse. Yeah. No need to wait later. I think at this time, I get some information. There are some middle or even big developers who already have problem with their cash flow. Yeah. I hope it will not happen, but it's happened. Yeah. But this happened. Yesterday, I discussed about bankruptcy in property business. Yeah, I heard at least 15 developers who will have problem right now. Yeah, I can say the name yet. Okay, yeah, it's masih rahasia itu ya. Okay, the next is the third. Yeah, the third is about change its market behavior. Yeah, market behavior, technology disruption. Technology disruption has become faster. All will turn to digital. Yeah, the developer began to shift their promotion to digital system gradually. Okay, let's see the data. Before pandemic.
Excuse me, Pak Ali. Keep the limit, the time limit. Yeah.
Okay.
For the
Okay. Let's see the data. Yeah. Before pandemic, 7.9% of employees work from home. And now, during pandemic, it is estimated that 34% of employees in US work from home. Yeah, the percentage of people working from home is also increased. Yeah, in all countries. Children study at home. Yeah, this condition will make a lot of change in market behavior. Yeah, so what we can do is adapt and anticipate many things that might happen in the future. Yeah, this is all I can say, Mr. Tito. I'm so sorry if I had a mistake. Thank you for your attention. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ali Tranghanda, for the speech.